Welcome. This SharePoint Online overview was designed to introduce the key features of Microsoft SharePoint Online to IT professionals. SharePoint Online is one of the products in the Office 365 suite of online business applications. For enterprises, SharePoint Online is a great way of using the cloud to extend and enhance many of the functions of a traditional on-premise deployment. SharePoint Online is an efficient way of solving a range of business scenarios, such as providing intranet access to remote or retail branch employees, quickly setting up external websites for special events, and establishing sites for external partners and suppliers. Microsoft has created a wealth of materials that can provide further detailed information about SharePoint Online. For more information about SharePoint Online, see the resources on the last slide of this presentation. In this presentation, we'll introduce you to SharePoint Online and the basics of setting it up and managing it. We'll start first by providing a brief introduction, show you ways to import users, discuss setting up users with Active Directory synchronization as well as single sign-on, and then we'll take a brief look at basic user administration tasks, such as adding licenses. Next, we'll head to the SharePoint Online Administration panel. There you'll learn how to perform ongoing tasks like site management, setting up options for using InfoPath, and configuring existing user profiles. We'll also take a look at how to use the SharePoint Online Term Store for managing metadata and ongoing support options, which you can access for the whole Office 365 suite. SharePoint Online is an enterprise-grade solution that enhances communications and collaboration capabilities by empowering people and groups to easily create sites to share documents and information. It requires minimal extra cost and overhead because there is no need to physically deploy any software on the site, and because Microsoft assumes much of the operational burden of managing the IT infrastructure. Because it's a cloud-based service, organizations simply subscribe to SharePoint Online. This can help simplify the implementation process and accelerate time to value. SharePoint Online is available in two versions. Both versions are offered through flexible user subscription licenses that include access to either the entire Office 365 suite or to individual services. SharePoint Online is ideal for the creation of hybrid enterprise intranet deployments. It allows organizations to selectively create, distribute, and provide access to information and workloads, while tightly controlling access to data that resides behind firewalls in on-premise SharePoint implementations. It allows organizations to selectively create, distribute, and provide access to information and workloads, while tightly controlling access to data that resides behind firewalls in on-premises SharePoint implementations or in other line-of-business systems. SharePoint Online also works with familiar Microsoft Office applications. Users can easily create Office documents and save them directly to SharePoint Online, or co-author documents with Microsoft Office web apps, such as PowerPoint and Excel. Users can access Office documents offline or from mobile devices, and they can set document-level permissions to protect sensitive content. Okay, now we'll log into SharePoint Online and get started. Signing on to the Office 365 portal brings you to the Administrator's homepage for Office 365. As you can see, there are a variety of tasks you can access from the admin homepage. We'll begin by discussing the options available for importing and adding users. In the Admin Overview panel on the left side of the screen, you'll see the Management section. Click on Users. Once on the Users page, you'll see a very short list of users, or possibly just your name. Note that for this demonstration we've listed a few fictional names. You'll also see several options under the Main Users heading. These include Single Sign-On, Active Directory synchronization, and Manage External Contacts in Exchange Online. Administrators will need to do some advanced preparation before synchronizing a local Active Directory to SharePoint Online and other Office 365 services. First, you must decide whether you want to set up Single Sign-On, which enables your company's users to sign in to Office 365 using their corporate credentials. It is strongly recommended that you consider doing this step before you do Active Directory synchronization. Single sign-on, which is also known as Identity Federation, lets users access services in Office 365 using their existing Active Directory username and password. For users, single sign-on delivers the convenience of being able to sign in without having to remember multiple passwords or usernames. Administrators gain benefits such as greater policy and access controls, reduced support calls, and better security and support for strong authentication. To start the single sign-on process, from the main Users page, click on Setup, next to the Single Sign-On label. Once there, you'll see a full list of step-by-step instructions and background that will quickly walk you through the process. Now let's take a look at synchronizing your Active Directory users to SharePoint Online. First, it is strongly recommended that you read about the process and do some evaluating before actually beginning the Active Directory synchronization process. Like with the single sign-on process, from the main Office 365 admin page, click on the Users link in the left panel under Management. In the main Users panel, find Active Directory Synchronization and click on the Setup link. Once there, you'll see a range of background guidance and actual steps. Read through these carefully before beginning your synchronization procedure. If you want more in-depth information, click on the Learn More link. This provides rich background material to help you better understand what's involved in Active Directory synchronization. Another option available in SharePoint Online involves managing external contacts using the Exchange Server Deployment Assistant. This feature, sometimes referred to as X-Deploy, is an Exchange Server feature that allows external contacts to be displayed in Office 365 applications, including SharePoint Online. Because these contacts are outside of your main organization, they cannot sign into your domain. Having their contact information on display is useful for maintaining an up-to-date repository in scenarios where internal users need to work with them. Let's take a look at how to add external contacts. From the main Office 365 admin page, click on the Manage link under Exchange Online. In the Exchange Control panel, select External Contacts, then select New, and then fill in the fields with the external contact information. First name, initial, last name. These fields aren't required and they don't appear in the address book. Display name. This name appears in the address book on the to and from lines in email, and in the external contacts list in the Exchange Control panel. It's required. You can enter the first and last name of the contact here too. Alias. The contact's alias is required and is a unique identifier for this external contact in your organization. External email address. You want to enter the outside email account of the external contact here. It's required. Email sent to this contact is forwarded to this email address. When you're finished, click Save. If you will not be importing users with Active Directory synchronization or single sign-on, or if you have a reason to add multiple additional users beyond what is in your Active Directory listing, you can add from the User Management page. Simply click on the New button. The drop-down menu gives the option of adding a single user or a group of users. When adding a single user, you'll be guided to the Properties page. Fill in the necessary user properties. Clicking Next brings you to the Settings page, where you can assign administrative permissions and set the user's location. Then assign a license to the user. The new user profile has now been created. You have the option of sending a new account notification to the user. To add a group of users, select the Bulk Add Users under the New drop-down menu. This brings us to the Bulk Add Users page, where you add groups of users either by selecting a pre-existing CSV file or creating a new one from a text editor. The bulk users process is straightforward. It includes verifying the file import, establishing settings and licenses for users, and finalizing the process with optional notification emails to the users. Okay, now that we've imported users, let's go back to the Users Administration page, Let's walk through key tasks that you'll need to know about in managing your users. Clicking on an individual username will direct you to a page where you can modify user settings. From there, you can assign licenses, change user properties, assign user roles, set permissions, set user location, change mailbox settings, and configure link settings, all using an intuitive, user-friendly interface. Note that synced user information can only be changed in your on-premise directory and will be updated on the next sync. Now that we've covered the basics of importing users and setting up their profiles, let's move on to the site management features. The SharePoint Online Administration Console is a clear, easy-to-understand interface that provides access to 5 key services: managing site collections, configuring info path forms services and the forms services web proxy, managing users' profiles, and accessing the term store to manage metadata. From the main Office 365 admin page, click on the Manage link under the SharePoint Online heading. This takes you to the SharePoint Online Administration Center. Let's start at the top by clicking on the Manage Site Collections link. Once in the Site Collections Management panel, click on the New button in the upper left corner and then choose Private Site Collection. Clicking on the New Site Collection will bring up this panel. Here you can name the site collection, choose a template, and you will find a wide range of options for creating different types of sites, naming sites, and defining various site characteristics. Among the options are a variety of templates that you can choose from by clicking on the horizontal tabs. Note that a template cannot be changed once a site is created. There are a couple of sites most commonly used by enterprises, such as team sites, blogs, and document workspaces. Go to the Collaboration tab. The first option is to create a team site. These sites can help teams of employees create, organize, and share information. The Blog Creation button, which has become a common feature in large organizations for individuals or teams to post information such as product ideas or expertise, updates on projects, and other types of news or information. The Group Work site option is also useful. It provides a solution for an extended team site that also includes group calendars, memo functions, document libraries, and a variety of lists. We encourage you to view all of the options. Each one has a brief descriptor that explains the feature. After you've created your site parameters, simply click the OK button at the bottom of the configuration page. It can take a couple of minutes for the site to be generated. Once the system is done, the site will appear under the Site Collections heading with a new label next to it. Checking the box next to the site's name opens up the Settings Management panel. A variety of options are available from the Settings Management panel, including viewing site properties, setting up site owners, and managing storage and resource quotas. When you open the site in a separate window, you can manage and modify the site further. Clicking on the Browse and Page tabs at the top show the variety of options available. These include viewing site pages and documents, setting page permissions, and establishing library settings. Another handy tool is the Site Actions button, which opens a range of tasks, such as naming a site and giving it a URL, designating one or more administrators for a site, and providing details such as storage quotas. To modify the look of a site, click on Site Actions and then Edit in SharePoint Designer. You can change the site's look and feel, such as placement of graphics, inserting pictures, and changing fonts. Users can also modify their My Sites with features like colors or images, or by adding files. My Sites are useful not only for a person to collect their own information and feeds, but also for setting up what information can be viewed by others in a team or throughout the company. One great advantage of the My Site option is that users can get away from individual file shares on a network, which can be hard to manage. You can also use SharePoint Online to create a simple public-facing website. However, there are a couple of key differences in this process. First, a user needs administrative permission to create a public website. This is done to protect your organization from unauthorized website creation and can help you ensure that only trained, authorized users have access to this tool. A SharePoint template design is provided with the ability to modify the look of the public-facing sites, but this work is best left to trained website designers in your organization. Let's go back now to the SharePoint Online Administration Center and take a quick look at the info path and user profile options. InfoPath is a powerful and useful tool in SharePoint intranets. In the InfoPath Services window, there are two options, allowing users to use browser-based form templates and allowing InfoPath forms to be rendered in browsers. Selecting the browser option can be important for InfoPath forms, if they'll be viewed by people who don't have the InfoPath client software installed on their PC and need the browser-enabled feature in order to open and view the form. Now let's go back to the Administration Center page and click on the InfoPath Web Service proxy link. By checking the Enable box, InfoPath forms can be created on users' PCs and then used to connect to external web services. For example, Amazon or eBay. If the box is not checked, then these services will not be available for viewing in SharePoint Online. Okay, the next choice in the Administration Center panel is for configuring user profiles. The tools here are easy and intuitive to use. You can manage user profiles, properties, and permissions, and do the same tasks for organization profiles. You'll also see a link for managing My Site settings. The final option in the Administration Center panel is managing the term store. The term store management tool is for taxonomists, administrators, or other users within the organization who are responsible for creating, importing, and managing term sets and the terms within them that make up taxonomies. The term store management tool, which can also be accessed from the site settings page, displays the global term sets and any local term sets available for a site collection. The SharePoint Online Term Store provides a number of options, including establishing and managing keywords and orphan terms, and setting the properties for wiki categories. It's important to think about your organization's terms first before starting to import any terms. You might want to consider what's appropriate for an online site versus an on-premises intranet, and who will be viewing content that resides on your SharePoint Online site. You'll want to carefully consider terms that are critical for your company's operations to make sure that the online and on-premises versions match, such as invoicing terminology. To create a new term store or modify existing terms, go to the SharePoint Online Administration Center and click on the Term Store link. There are two main panels. On the left is the Taxonomy Term Store used for creating, modifying, and importing terms. In the right panel are the properties for the category highlighted to the left. Let's walk through a few sample scenarios. Suppose you would like to add one or more new keywords at a system-wide level. Simply click on the Keywords button to expose a drop-down arrow and select New Keyword. Give it a name that is applicable across the organization, such as a department-specific keyword such as accounting. Once the keyword is created, you'll see an additional drop-down arrow that lets you move or delete the keyword. Within Site Collections, you can create new term sets or import term sets. Creating new term sets is useful for specific teams, departments, or projects. You can also import existing term sets. Click on the main Site Collection label, then select the drop-down for Import Term Set. A dialog box will open so you can browse for an existing CSV file. Click on the file and hit OK. Once the term set is imported, you can click on it to view and modify its properties. We've now covered many of the key features of SharePoint Online, all of which will help to get you started quickly. Before ending this presentation, though, let's take a minute to review the support option. Going back to the main Office 365 Admin Overview page, Under the Support heading on the left, you'll see several options: Overview, Service Requests, Service Health, and Planning Maintenance. All of the options are fairly self-explanatory. The Overview page provides at-a-glance views of current issues and quick solutions for common problems, and lets you manage your delegated administrators. You can also quickly see any service requests that have been assigned to you. The service requests can be viewed in more detail by clicking on the Service Requests link. Clicking the link opens a page with details on any pending service requests. There's also the option to create new service request if, for example, the issue was first heard about from email or on the phone. Let's go back to the main page and click on Service Health. This is useful for getting an at-a-glance view of how well SharePoint Online and other components of the Office 365 suite are working. Clicking on individual icons in the columns, such as additional information or service degradation, will bring up more detailed data. Finally, there is the Plan Maintenance link. Clicking on this link brings you to a page that indicates any upcoming planned downtime for the Office 365 service that results from regular Microsoft-initiated service updates to the infrastructure and software applications. Customers are notified via an RSS feed no later than 5 days in advance of all planned maintenance. When you see the feed, go to the Service Health dashboard for more details on the planned downtime. Microsoft typically plans downtime for times when service usage is typically at its lowest, Fridays and Saturdays based on regional time zones. The dashboard also provides an overview of maintenance actions and whether or not they have been completed. This completes our overview presentation of SharePoint Online for IT professionals. Our goal was to help you get started with the essential activities for setting up and managing SharePoint Online. Further detailed information can be found on the Microsoft website on how to set up and manage this great new online service. For more information, refer to the links shown here.